Okay, if you want to create a game, at the bottom of your screen, there's a new game with a blue plus sign. You just tap on that, and then you're going to click on round robins, third line down. And then you're going to have a bunch of choices of the type of games that you want to create. Now, if you're not sure, if you click on the question mark where it says help me choose, and then halfway down round robin guide and the blue box, click on that. And then what it does is gives you a nice summary of what each format's like. So, for example, let's say Claim the Throne. Okay, now pay attention, especially over here where it says in the gray box, one game per round. So this would be good if you want lots of mixing. However, some formats, I can't remember which ones now, not Gauntlet, Cream of the Crop. Yeah. So for example, the cream of the crop, it says 3 games per round, so it's going to put people into pools of 4 or 5, right, or maybe even 6, depending on numbers. So it really depends on how much movement you want to have. But for example, now the only one I wouldn't choose is probably popcorn because it's random, right? And the pro tip we recommend time games and stuff like that. Like my pro tip for popcorn is don't use it if unless uh, the skill level of everybody is more or less the same. So I wouldn't use popcorn, but you can use everything else, I guess. So I'm going to use Claim the Throne because I think it's basically going to be like King's Court. So, claim the throne and so on. Okay, so once you know which one you want, go back into here, and I'm going to use claim the throne. Okay, so now you start off with a location. So I'm going to find court. It just figures out where you are, and then you pick the one that's closest to you. In this case, we're going to definitely pick Funky Bounce. I'm going to pick Saturdays since this is a test and we don't play Saturdays. Start times, there's a bug with their system that they have to fix. So you can easily add the start times and so on, but you can't lock in. So if you click off, it just goes back to the default. So what they have to fix is the OK button is actually in the bottom right-hand corner. So you notice I'm just tapping down the right-hand side. As soon as I get to the bottom corner, that's where their thing is. Now you notice that these other things, it takes some assumptions, like it's assuming you only want 2 quarts, right? So if you click on the pencil here, you can change that. So in our case, we're gonna have 4 quarts. We can keep the naming the same. Are these quarts reserved already? Yes. You can leave which ones are reserved. Formatted play, you're gonna want to change because once again, it thinks you only have 2 quarts and you're only gonna want 8 players. I'm going to select no limit because we actually are going to limit that through PCNS. Skill level, you notice it says 3.75 to 4.75. That's because I've set my level at 4.25, so it goes 0.5 on either end. But for our purposes, you'd want to change that to something like that. And privacy, I think it's fine to leave it as is. You do not make it public because then anybody with the app will be actually able to see the game and sign up. I would leave all this stuff alone, but you can, if you want, you can take all these things off. And then add the note. This is where it's really more for you, but if you are doing a bunch of these and you try to keep track as to what format you're using, this is where you can write that in. Okay, and then you create the session. Okay, so now you can invite. So here it gives you the setup. It's it gives you the date, the times, where you're playing, the level of play, and so on. I'm going to leave the invite part alone for now. Okay, so I'm just going to get out of here. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm just going to get out of there too and go back to the home screen here. Okay, so now if you're trying to find that thing, you have to go to games, and then you'll find it under games. So games is on the bottom right corner, and then you have to scroll and find the date that it's at. Okay, All right, so that's how you create your game. We'll have another video on how to invite players later.